What's happening? I'm Ironman from the music group The Lottery, Showtime Records. And on this glorious April 18, 2018, I bring to you my daily views, NBA Playoff Edition. Everything concerning the NBA, the schedule, my picks, and the reasons why. To support your boy, as always, just type in Jmvol or just my views on life into the search bar. Subscribe to the channel. Then hit that little notification bell so you're alerted every time there's a brand new video. Now, about last night, the Washington Wizards once again visited the Toronto Raptors, owners of the best record in the regular season, looking to even up the series at 1-1 after that stomping they took the other night. The reason for that is because Jmvol looked lethargic. He couldn't do anything right. This guy could not make any shots. No, my friends, on that day, he was not the all-NBA player we've all come to know and love. He was what I like to call a volume point guard. As opposed to a volume shooter, a volume point guard is a point guard who gets a lot of numbers. You look at the stat sheet, the box score, and you're like, wow, this guy was really productive. No, he was really productive because he had the ball in his hand most of the game. He was making all the decisions, and he played a lot of minutes. You play a lot of minutes, have the ball in your hand, you're always making all the decisions. You are going to eventually rack up some numbers, some nice looking stats, regardless of how efficient or inefficient you were on the court and how you actually affected the rest of the team, which is the main job of a point guard, to affect the rest of the players in a positive manner, getting them in the right spot, getting them the ball when they're open in the positions that they like to get it in, that they're most comfortable in, and getting them easy shots, directing the team, being the point of attack. He sucked. Bradley Beal was efficient, but he was just barely above average, which would be okay if he wasn't the secondary option, the second superstar, the second all-star on the team. You've got to do more than that, especially when you've got like a max contract. A little above average is not going to cut it. Definitely did not cut it against the Toronto Raptors. Otto Porter Jr. was a key to that game in my view, and this guy disappointed on every single level. Instead of the 15 to 16 point per game potential third member of the big three, this guy turned in like a 7-point performance. He was virtually non-existent in all facets of the game, and of course they could not win. They could not win, even though their counterparts, Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, they were just above average, if that at all. But the rest of the team was clicking, and they did enough. They did enough to pull out that victory. So I'm sure they were trying to redeem themselves, and I was thinking that they could. I mean, Jmvol couldn't play that much worse than what he did. Just from the shooting perspective, he just couldn't put the ball in the hole. So he had to be a little bit better. So I thought the game would be a little bit closer because he was going to play better, but I still thought the Raptors would pull out the victory. Something of note, backup shooting guard / point guard Jody Meeks out of Kentucky, who once had a 50-point game in Kentucky, played a couple years for my Los Angeles Lakers, will continue to be unavailable for the Washington Wizards because this guy was suspended by the league, and get this, because of PED use, drug violation. Now you're saying this guy isn't that, I mean, he just doesn't look that big. I mean, why would he? Why, he's not a weightlifter. He's not LeBron James. You know, I'm just saying that. I mean, he's not that kind of guy. Why would he be using PEDs? Apparently, he's been going through a bunch of injuries, and if I had to guess, in an attempt to heal up a little bit quicker and recover, he may have used something. But this is all alleged, and you know, unfortunately, even though he appealed this action immediately, and you know, he wants to prove his innocence. Due to the new collective bargaining agreement, he will still be suspended from play while his appeal is in process. So it's basically guilty to proven innocent, which is quite the opposite of how it works in America, how it's supposed to work. But that is unfortunate for the Washington Wizards. As such, they did sign Ty Lawson, to be a backup guard. And had a feeling that he was going to be available to play, and that he did. Now look, I don't have any problem with Ty Lawson, no problem at all. It seems like he's recovered from his alcohol dependence issues. But when he's put into the game, he was just signed on like April 11th. When he's put into the game, 4.5 minutes into the first quarter for your all-league, all-star player, your point guard, Jmvol, you've got serious problems. Serious problems. It's already 19-8. You're down by 11. After 4.5 minutes, you are down by 11. You got stomped in the first game, and then 4.5 minutes into the second game, you are down by 11, taking out your all-star guard from a guy who came from the CBA, the Chinese Basketball Association. No knock on them, but he wasn't in the league because they just didn't feel confident about him at the time. You had this guy in here for a week. He's been back in the league for a week, and now he's into the second game, the first quarter of the first round of the playoffs. And you're down by 11, and you already have to call on him. This is a problem. I don't want to say I feel bad for him, but I don't feel good about the Washington Wizards. I wanted them to put up more of a fight. I know the season, I mean, not the season, well, it could be for them. I know the series is not over, especially with Toronto, who's known that when they go on the road, they can have some breakdowns and some letdowns. You have you right back in the series. Momentum swings your way, shows you a lot of favor. I mean, you never know what could happen. But this is horrible. If you're like, man, how bad could it be? Barring an injury, this is as bad as it could be. So Ty Lawson is in the game for about 3.5 minutes. He knocks down a three-pointer, great for him. But then he comes back and has a giveaway. He just gave the ball away. He was like, here you go, take this. And not only that did he just give the ball away in a horrendous turnover, it turned into an easy breakaway dunk on the other end. But Ty Lawson continued to be very active. He continued to probe him, continued to dribble drive, and making excellent passes off of those reads. Guys were knocking down shots after that. I mean, he drove in, took a jumper, got the rebound, passed it back out for a wide open three. So I'm not mad at his performance. I don't know what was wrong with Jmvol, but Ty Lawson, after he settled down a bit, he was nice. He was nice for a little bit. Unfortunately, Otto Porter Jr. was the same average bench player. At least that's what his production looked like. This guy shot an air ball. He was just non-existent pretty much through the whole first quarter, would led them to being down by 20 points. About 20 points they were down after the first quarter. They allowed a record like 40-something points, like 43, 44 points in the first quarter for the Toronto Raptors. That's a franchise record for them in the playoffs. You can't get stomped in the first game and then come back and lay another egg in the first quarter, being down by more than 20 points, and expect to win. Not only just come back and win, you can't even win a quarter. You're trying to win a quarter, try to win a game and win a series. Man, what? What? You're down by 20 after the first quarter. You don't want to win. Man, they might get their coach fired. They're going to have to do something in the offseason. One of these guys has got to go. Bradley Beal or Jmvol, it is not working. It is done. I don't know who's to blame. Sometimes everything is not always to blame, but sometimes things just do not mix. They just do not mix. And Jmvol and Bradley Beal, I think that relationship is done. That relationship is done. And when I talk about the offseason, that is going to be a surprise issue that I think may have some large ramifications throughout the rest of the league. As small forwards go for the Washington Wizards, Kelly Oubre was exactly the opposite of Otto Porter Jr. Wave Papi, as they call him. This guy was driving in and with authority dunking on folks. This guy was not playing. He came for business, and it was his pleasure. This guy was aggressive and very effective. Very effective indeed. The Wizards looked very apathetic. It looked like the game was lost with about 4 minutes gone into the fourth quarter. They unleashed Jmvol. They took the shackles off of him and said, please do what you do. with no restraints. This guy was driving in. He was hesitating, crossing over on everybody, driving in relentlessly. This guy was getting buckets, finding people open. Mike Scott came into the game, knocked down some huge shots. Kelly Oubre was playing great with this guy. And then the surprise matchup, they had Ty Lawson in there for Bradley Beal. I guess because he wasn't doing anything. Okay, nothing positive for the team anyway. But man, Ty Lawson was playing great he was playing fantastic ball like he'd been there the whole year. Playing great. The synergy between him and John Wall was fantastic. This guy was knocking down shots. He wasn't demanding the ball. He was playing off the ball. That was fantastic because, man, John Wall was creating everything. Ty Lawson was finishing. And then, man, John Wall had the fantastic rejection off the backboard that started the fast break. Kicked it to Ty Lawson in the corner, the left-hand corner of the court. Man, Ty Lawson knocked it down. It was down to 5. 7.5 minutes left to go in the game. They were down by 20 in the first quarter. All of a sudden, I told you, momentum is a feisty mistress. And a little finicky at that. The slightest thing can turn her attention to the other team. They got excited. Unleashing John Wall was the answer. And man, they had it down to 5 after being down by 20 in the first quarter. This was a very exciting game. I hope you did not turn it off after the first half when they allowed the Toronto Raptors to score 74 points in the first half. 74-76 is out. That's outrageous. But just like that, any thoughts of a comeback were quickly snuffed out by the Raptors as John Wall continued to pound the rock and drive relentlessly into the lane. They said, you know what? We can't stop you, but we don't want you passing it off. We want you to shoot it because we're going to start rejecting these shots off the damn blackboard. Not the blackboard like I'm back in school. Off the backboard. It was outrageous. John Wall got rejected. He wanted a foul. No call was made. And then Serge Ibaka does what he do. Came down and rejected another one of his shots into the lane. Then DeMar DeRozan going in, doing the Kobe post-up, fading away, knocking down shots in the lane, hustling back on defense, saving the ball from going out of bounds, then throwing it to DeLon Wright for the dunk on the other end. And just like that, it was down to 5 with about 2.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It was back up to 20, and so with the hopes of a comeback, the Toronto Raptors, with the help of their staunch bench play, quelched any ideas of a comeback for the victory at home to go up 2-0. John Wall did not disappoint me. I knew he had to come back and play better. He couldn't play any worse. He was the only starter for the Wizards that did anything. The rest of the starters were trash. Morris only had 6 points. $100 million man Otto Porter Jr. only had 12 points. Marcin Gortat had 0 points. He had laid a goose egg. 0 points. 0 points in 12 minutes. Bradley Beal, the second option, second all-star, beefing with John Wall, played 25 minutes and only scored 9 points. 9 points. The guys on the bench were killing. They did everything they possibly could. I'm not mad at those guys at all. John Wall had no help. 32 minutes. He shot 9 of 17, which is about 56%. 11-11 from the free throw line, which shows how clutch he is. 9 assists, 1 block, 29 points. Almost a point a minute, but with absolutely no help from the starters. The Washington Wizards go down predictably 0-2 to the Toronto Raptors, 130-119. Then we had the Milwaukee Bucks coming for game 2 against my hated Boston Celtics. Speaking of the Boston Celtics, let me segue here for a second. My video, the much anticipated, long-awaited, the Kyrie saga, is up and ready for view. It was definitely worth the wait. You should check it out, and it will most definitely play right after the conclusion of this video, so stay tuned. It was definitely worth it. You won't be disappointed. You will enjoy it. But about game 1 between the Bucks and the Celtics, the reason the Celtics won is because Shabazz Muhammad off the bench got no minutes. Thon Maker got like no minutes. Antetokounmpo was good, really good, and Chris Middleton was fantastic. but Eric Bledsoe was hot garbage. And I mean the hottest of the hot. This guy was hot garbage, just trashed the whole game. He was supposed to outplay Terry Rozier. That did not happen. It was the exact opposite. Terry Rozier totally outplayed this guy, and it was sad to watch. So I was thinking to myself, now look, man, Eric Bledsoe, he's way more talented than that. He can't continue to play that bad. I mean, who would do that? I mean, unless he's slumping. I don't think he's slumping. I mean, he's got to be better than that. So I thought that, you know what, man, they're going to make the game a lot closer because Jabari Parker was playing well that game. You know, and with Eric Bledsoe improving his play just a little bit, should be much closer. And I thought that they would pull out the win. Eric Bledsoe would play much, much better, and they would get the victory, depending on that. 1 minute into the game, after a fantastic save by Giannis, this guy, Eric Bledsoe, with the ridiculous turnover that led to the easy bucket on the other end. You can't be serious. That just set the tone for the rest of the team as everybody was just throwing the ball away like a hot potato. Get it out of my hands. I don't care who it goes to. Your team, my team, as long as it's not in my hands anymore. They were down by 11 points after the first quarter. You guys aren't ready to play. That is a sign of terrible, terrible preparation from the coach. I know he's an interim coach, but he's an interim coach for a reason. He will most likely not be given the permanent head coaching job over there. Are you serious? No way. And you fired Jason Kidd for this. John Henson is center for the Bucks. This guy needs to go to the store right now. It doesn't matter how much it costs. He needs to find a jumper. I mean, I'm not talking about threes. I'm not talking about Steph Curry's. I'm not talking about, from 35 feet. I'm not talking about James Harden, most likely MVP in a couple of short weeks here. I'm talking about something further than 8 feet. Something from right within the restricted area. You need a 10 to 12 foot jumper, something so you can be a threat. It is killing the hopes of the Milwaukee Bucks. Shane Larkin and Eric Bledsoe just going at it. But the combination of Shane Larkin and Terry Rozier is just killing the Milwaukee Bucks. Eric Bledsoe is getting totally outplayed the entire game. Man, they have no hope. If this guy can't find a way to play better, they have no hope. Finally, they brought in Shabazz Muhammad. This guy was playing. He was instant offense. A great spark and had a lot of energy off the bench. Was getting on the fast break, playing really good defense. Why did you not let this guy play at all? How did you get a DNP last game? Don't make no sense. All the while, Jaylen Brown is just killing on both ends of the floor. He's driving in. He's coming off of screens, knocking down three, dunking in the lane after playing the pick and roll. What more could you ask for? Shabazz Muhammad, not known as a great outside shooter, knocks down a three-pointer halfway through the second quarter to tie the game up. After being down by 11, he comes in instant offense, ties the game up with a three from the right-hand quarter. Well, the right-hand top of the key. This guy knocked it down 35-35, games tied up. As the fourth quarter rolled around, it became very apparent to me that the Milwaukee Bucks have absolutely nobody to guard Jaylen Brown, especially when he's playing like this. He was sensational and fantastic. This guy was knocking down jumpers from everywhere. He was on the break playing super stout defense. Every time they thought they were trying to mount a comeback, he would knock down a shot, come off the screen, drive in, finger roll, laying up. This guy was doing it all. Terry Rozier was knocking down some clutch buckets along with Morris and Horford. Then Shane Larkin was getting buckets. Eric Bledsoe hit a couple of gimme shots, but hey, when you're down by 20, I mean, hey, somebody's got to shoot it. Somebody's going to score. You feel that adrenaline. These shots, these points didn't affect the outcome of the game. This guy was a non-factor again, and Jabari Parker was getting no minutes. He was fairly effective the first game, no minutes the second game. You got to do something. You got this guy, oh my God, you got Jaylen Brown over here killing y'all like that. If you got nobody to stop him, at least make him work on the defensive end. Maybe that'll slow down his offense. No, to no avail. I'm just yelling at the wall. That's all I'm doing. And if it wasn't a clutch, timely basket by the Celtics to slow down this failed comeback, the next failed comeback attempt. It was a turnover and sloppy play by them as well that shot themselves in their own foot. What I took away from this game is that Chris Middleton is indeed the truth. This guy came with another fantastic performance. This guy was 10 of 14 from the field with 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 25 points in 37 minutes of play. John Henson was okay, but 12 points for 37 minutes is just not enough. 34 minutes. I say that Eric Bledsoe, who they needed to step up and be part of their big three, per se. This guy played 34 minutes, only hit 5 shots out of 13. 5 shots. He had 7 rebounds, 4 assists. How do you only have 4 assists in 34 minutes of play? That's outrageous. And only 12 points? Tony Snell played 22 minutes. This guy only had 2 points. What the hell is going on over here in Milwaukee? I don't even think the interim coach wants to. He don't think he wants to finish out the series. This guy wants to get fired, let go, relieved of his duties right now. Talking about y'all just go out there and play, do whatever y'all want to do. I'm going home. Jabari Parker only played 10 minutes. Scored 0 points. Only took 2 shots. Thon Maker. Why would you draft this guy in the first round only to play him 1 minute? You played him 1 minute. Couldn't do any worse than Tony Snell. Tony Snell played 22 minutes and only got 2 points. Thon Maker could have played a few more than minutes. Let that boy get up some more shots. Somebody, anybody. As expected, Shabazz Muhammad came in, played only 12 minutes, was 50% from the field, 2 of 4 from the free throw line, but 1 of 1 from the 3. This guy had 11 points in only 12 minutes. That's almost a point a minute. And you can't get this guy more minutes? Tony Snell played 22 minutes, only scored 2 points. But Shabazz Muhammad came in 12 minutes and scored 11 points. You can't find no more time for this. Y'all don't want to win. Y'all don't want to win. For the Celtics, Morris came off the bench and was excellent. 6 of 11. It's like 54%. He's shooting 54%. And that includes 6 3-pointers that he took. This guy was knocking down everything. 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. 18 points in 30 minutes. That's fantastic. Greg Monroe played 17 minutes. And these were crucial buckets that this guy got. He only had 12 points, but that was in only 17 minutes. Add to that 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block. These guys played well off the bench, like they actually been coached by somebody who knows what they're doing. My pick for Coach of the Year, Brad Stevens. Shane Larkin played 21 minutes, had 11 points. Had 11 points off the bench. He had 11 points off the bench and played 21 minutes. About 21 minutes. Eric Bledsoe played 34 minutes and had 12 points. You're not going to win. These boys want to get swept. They want to get swept. They looked overmatched. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he needs to start shooting more threes. If you got the ball in your hands that much, you have got to shoot more threes. You've got to be a threat from out there. All you can do is miss. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Tony Snell wasn't getting no buckets. What you think, they're going to sit you down? Come on, Giannis. They not going to sit you down, boss. You can shoot as many times you want from anywhere you want to on the floor. You might as well fire it up. Let that thing go. Let that thing go. Somebody's got to knock down shots. It might as well be you. You are the star on the team. But man, the Milwaukee Bucks, they go down 0-2 in a very disappointing performance. But that was going to be expected, especially with Eric Bledsoe laying another goose egg out there. This was a stinker of a performance. They've got to do something. Giannis needs some help. 120-106. Boston goes. My hated Boston Celtics go up 120-106 to go up 2 in the series. 2 games to none. They are likely going to sweep unless something miraculous happens. Then for the final game, we had New Orleans Pelicans playing the Portland Trail Blazers. In that first game, like I predicted, playoff Rondo was definitely in effect. An all-world, all-NBA player, Anthony Davis, the Brow, was dominant in every facet of the game. The Pelicans had an easy night against the Portland Trail Blazers. Dame Dollars was just okay. The rest of the players on the team were just okay. And just okay is not going to stop that type of performance from the New Orleans Pelicans. Not to mention the sleeper third member of their big three, Drew Holiday, who was secretly moved to the shooting guard position when he'd been playing point guard for most of his career. Rajon Rondo came in and said, hey man, I know you're an explosive shooting guard. Let me just go and move you on over here. I'll do what I do. Playoff Rondo has been engaged. You go over there and be the superstar shooting guard that I know you can be. That gives us a big three over here, and I don't think we can be stopped. And they couldn't. And I didn't think there were going to be any answers to be had. It's not like you can sign some more players to start playing right now. I didn't think they had any answers. The Portland Trail Blazers had absolutely no answers for Anthony Davis. No answers. No answers. Then you got playoff Rondo. Then you got Drew Holiday playing some kind of superstar. It's a wrap for the Portland Trail Blazers. I expected Dame Dollar to come out firing and trying to keep up with the New Orleans Pelicans. But not only is Anthony Davis all world, all galaxy on the offensive end, posting up, driving in, pick and roll, but his jumper is wet. And he might just get Defensive Player of the Year. Secretly, I thought it was going to be the Stifle Tower from the Utah Jazz, but man, Anthony Davis is all world on the defensive end as well. He gets, not only does he get blocks, but he gets steals too. And then he switches off on every position. It doesn't matter if you run pick and roll. He just switches off on it. Stifle Tower don't do that. Rudy Gobert for the Utah Jazz, he don't do that. Man. Oh, man. I was looking forward to the second game, but I knew Portland Trail Blazers couldn't win. They might get swept. They definitely might get swept. But let's see what happened in this second game. Right off the bat, we got the two-man game between Drew Holiday and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis receives the pass at the top of the key around the free throw line. Splash on Jusuf Nurkic because the shot is wet. Jusuf Nurkic comes down on the other end with a strong drive and layup to the basket. But then they go right back down. Couple plays later, Anthony Davis catches the ball at the top of the key around the free throw line. Stop me if you've heard this before because the shot is wet. Since he was totally outplayed in the first game, Jusuf Nurkic looked like he had a lot more energy, like he had something to prove. The brow goes up for the layup or the layup or the attempted dunk, blocks and rejects his shot, gives him back some of his own medicine. But the brow gets the ball back. Remember, the possession does not end until you get the rebound or possession of the ball. Pass it to a streaking, cutting Drew Holiday for the left-handed tomahawk dunk right over Jusuf Nurkic. Oh my God, the big three came to play. The big three came to play for the Pelicans. Through the second and third quarter, there was a lot of back and forth action. A lot of bit players were stepping up. I spoke of the big three for the Pelicans. I didn't even mention Nikola Mirotic. This guy came down and knocked in some jumpers. Solomon Hill also came in and contributed. During this time, it seems like Dame Dollar was either ineffective or he was just being very, very patient. But CJ McCollum picked up the slack, was knocking down jumpers, driving in, turning around, step backs, and everything else in between. Jusuf Nurkic was also, he's like, hey man, I'm not going to continue to let you embarrass me. But as soon as, they thought they had the game, pretty close, they had an opportunity to win. Towards the end of the third quarter, it looked like instant replay. But this guy, Anthony Davis, darting to the hole. This guy got like 3 alley-oop phenomenal dunks on the Portland Trail Blazers. They had no answer for this guy diving to the hole. And when they tried to pack the paint, he just stopped back. I'm just going to step back here at the 3 and knock down this 3 because it's wet. And with only 3 minutes left into the game, Dame Dollar drives to the right side of the floor, kicks it out to Mo Harkless for the corner 3 to take the lead, probably for the first time in the game. But Drew Holiday comes right on back down the court, plays pick and roll with Nikola Mirotic, and he knocks down like the 26-foot 3 to take the lead back. Then Holiday comes back again with a walk, step up 3, knocks it down, splash, right in the face. Then they've been saying that Rajon Rondo can't shoot, and that may well be the truth. But playoff Rondo can knock down threes with the best of them as they pass the ball around. It hits the corner of the left side for the three from the corner pocket. Playoff Rondo, splash. Alvin Gentry, the coach for the Pelicans, is pumped out of his mind. He might need another trash can to throw up in like he did in Phoenix. This is the pertinent information for the game for the Trailblazers fans out there, and I know you are. Damian Lillard claims to be an all-NBA player, and he just might be that, but this was not an all-NBA performance by him or CJ McCollum. McCollum only had 22, played 39 minutes. Dame Dollar only had 17 points, and you played 40 minutes. You played 40 minutes, only had 17 points, and only 4 assists. What the? You were on the floor that whole time, and you just had no effect on the game. Yusuf Nurkic, I'm sure he had his hands full covering Anthony Davis, who wasn't fantastic, but he was above average and steady enough to keep them where they needed to be. Yusuf Nurkic only had 13 points. Oh my God. How are you part of the big three? Ain't no big three over here. Ain't no big three over here, man. Amino had 14 points. Evan Turner started the game and played 20 minutes and had 0 points. He laid a goose egg over there. You are not going to beat the New Orleans Pelicans when your starting small forward only scores 0 points. 0 points! You're not going to win like that. You're not going to win no games like that. You can't have starters scoring 0 points. Just can't do it. Won't do it. Can't win with them. This guy, Mirotic, he played 39 minutes, had 17 points. This was balanced scoring from the starters. Excellent production from the starters of the New Orleans Pelicans. Rondo played 39 minutes, shot like 54%, plus 17 in the plus or minus. He had 16 points. He's not known to be a scorer, but he had 16 points, 9 assists, 10 rebounds. That was almost a triple-double that everybody's falling in love with so much. Anthony Davis played 40 minutes, 50% shooting, 9 of 18. 1 or 2 from the three-point line, 22 points, 13 rebounds, only 1 assist, but he did knock in 2 steals, 2 blocks. But the story of the game was that secret transition of Jrue Holiday at the beginning of the season or in the offseason after they acquired Rajon Rondo, moving him to the not to the point guard, from the point guard to the shooting guard position. This guy was 14 of 24. It's damn near 70% from the field. He could not be stopped. He could not be stopped. Jrue Holiday was a monster on this day. 33 points, 1 steal, 9 assists, and 3 rebounds to totally annihilate the Portland Trailblazers. Not only to squash out any ideas that they may win the series, but any ideas that they might even win a game. Playoff Rondo is in effect. The New Orleans Pelicans, they win 111 to 102. And now on for the night. You know, before I get on to today's game, I've got to give you a little tidbit, just a little something extra. That's what we do over here. Just my views on life. We give you all the juicy, the tender that's been marinated for like 5 or 6 hours and the meat's just dripping off the bone. We give you all that. In a post-game interview, Terry Rozier, that same Terry Rozier, the backup point guard for the Boston Celtics, who is now starting in the absence of Kyrie Irving, and his video, the Kyrie saga, is available to watch on my channel. Please watch it. It will play right after this video gets done. Stay tuned. It was well worth the wait. But that Terry Rozier is going to get paid whenever his contract is over, because this guy is awesome and fantastic. And I mean that. I mean that with every fiber of my being. He is going to get paid. Likely might even be a starter somewhere. Maybe in Detroit. I don't know. They might be able to make something happen. I know they're not happy with Reggie Jackson over there. But that's just a little tangent. In a post-game interview, Terry Rozier mistakenly, it was an honest mistake. There was no malice intended. This guy mistakenly referred to Eric Bledsoe as Drew Bledsoe, the famous quarterback for the New England Patriots. Played for the Dallas Cowboys for a stint too. He was the famous quarterback that was there before they had Tom Brady. guy went down in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady came in. He ain't never left. He ain't never left after that. They had to get rid of Bledsoe after that. They was like, man, this guy came in, helped us win a championship. We're not moving him back to the bench. It's a wrap for you, boss. But he mistakenly referred to him as Drew Bledsoe. No malice was intended. So then a cocky reporter, they're always trying to stir something up in the Hornets' nest. He wants to talk about Terry Rozier's play and the matchup between them two. Man, hear this. He gave some interesting information. He said Terry Rozier has played like 78 minutes in these 2 playoff games. 78 minutes. And as a point guard, having the ball in hands most of the time, this guy's got 0 turnovers. 0. None. Not like Russell Westbrook with his monster triple doubles and 7 turnovers to boot, and LeBron James, who also does the same thing. This guy's played 78 minutes with no turnovers. Why is nobody talking about this guy? He is going to get paid. Someone's going to cut the check. But in the interview, they said, man, with his fantastic play so far, he was like, man, what do you think about the matchup between you guys? And this guy, Eric Bledsoe, he's got some balls. He was like, who the F is that? I don't know who you're talking about. The guy who's killing you. That's what it is. Maybe he honestly and truly doesn't know who he is. If so, he would have definitely called the authorities. I'm sure Boston PD would have loved to come up there and lock up Terry Rozier for killing that man. Because he is done. Toast. Stick a fork in him. He has been getting killed. I mean, annihilated. Totally outplayed in every facet of the game. Then you got the balls. In the famous words of Stephen A. Smith, the unmitigated gall and audacity to say you don't know who he is. Oh my God. Oh my God. Y'all got a problem over there in Milwaukee. Y'all might get swept. Y'all boys might get swept. But back on to the games for today, man. We've got 3 game 2s of action tonight and already have a good idea what's going to happen, so this won't take but a minute. Indiana goes back to Cleveland for the 2nd game of the series, and I expect the same results. Too much Modest Sabonis, too much Miles Turner, too much Darren Collison, too much Lance Born Ready Stevenson, too much Victor Oladipo. LeBron James don't want them problems. He's a fraud. He's a sham. And I do not want him wearing purple and gold for my Los Angeles Lakers. Ain't no savior. We good enough to make the playoffs even if we don't get Paul George or trade for Kawhi Leonard or anything like that. We good enough as long as we can stay healthy, barring any injuries. We can stay healthy. We can make the playoffs and we can make some noise. I believe in them boys. We don't need LeBron James. Everywhere he goes, he needs too much help. He runs off all the good players. Then he gets people that are just happy to play with him. And then he says he needs more help. And we don't need that. We don't need that over in LA. We don't need that at all. I expect them to lose again because them boys are not ready. And these boys are hungry. These boys are hungry. They're starving over there in Indiana. So to my homie Mo Money, who is overseas right now, a die-hard Pacers fan, congratulate you on your first game victory. I know you were ecstatic about that. And you are likely to get a win in game 2. Matter of fact, man, hey, Cleveland might get swept. Cleveland might get swept. Of course, there's a good chance that they could just fall, and Indiana could just fall apart today. This is all barring any injuries. They could just fall apart and then get steamrolled. But I don't see that happening. They don't really have anybody to stop Victor Oladipo. They ain't got nobody to stop him. Then they got the veteran-tested Corey Joseph coming off the bench. Played for Toronto a couple years ago. I don't see any answers for that. Then you got Minnesota and Houston. What we got? We got the starters over here with the worst coach probably in the playoffs. Playing their players 40-something minutes a game. Playing no offense. They're expecting Derrick Rose to come in and save them. I expect them to play well again. I expect them to play a bunch of minutes and then to keep it close. But they can't score enough points to beat the Houston Rockets as long as James Harden doesn't go missing like he has been known to do, they should win this game easily, even though it'll be close for maybe about 3/4, or they could get blown out. I mean, they could blow out Minnesota, but I expect them to keep it close. They use too much time off the shot clock to get really blown out most of the time. I expect them to get close, and no one can stop James Harden at the end. They should definitely win that game. Then you got OKC versus Utah. Utah's my pick to win the finals, win the championship, bring it back to the Jazz for the fans of Stockton and Malone who could not get it done. Unfortunately, man, Donovan Mitchell was fantastic and sensational the other game. He was. But old boy stepped on his foot, stubbed his toe, and everybody's talking about that's just a little minor little pain. I know you've gotten up in the middle of the night, try to get you something to drink or use the bathroom and stubbed your toe against the bedpost. Tell me how minor it was. Tell me how it didn't ruin the rest of your night. Woke up in the morning, if you could go back to sleep, toe just all bruised up and messed up. Didn't it just ruin at least 4 or 5 days? It didn't just go away. And he's trying to play basketball. He's not just, trying to eat cereal in the morning. This guy's trying to play basketball, putting a lot of pressure and weight on that foot, a lot of collisions. I mean, I'm sure that's extremely painful. That led to them losing. Because just like I thought, Russell Westbrook was wild and out of control. Only reason they won that game is because Paul George, well, I guess he invented the nickname Playoff Paul or Playoff P. He was awesome. I mean, lighting it up from everywhere. This is why we want him in LA. If we get anybody, we definitely want him. I don't think he can play that great again, can he? I mean, man, he had like 8 of 11 3-pointers. I mean, that's not going to happen every game. I'm sure he's going to be really good, but that's not going to happen every game. With the poor play of Russell Westbrook, I expect, if Donovan Mitchell plays without pain, I expect Utah to go ahead and get this victory. There you have it. Those have been my views for today. As always, please type in Jmvol or just my views on life into the search bar or on youtube.com. Subscribe to the channel. And then hit that notification bell so you're alerted. They send you a message every time there's a brand new video so you don't miss nothing. And if you think they may enjoy the content, feel free to share this video with all your family, your friends, your homies, your compadres, your besties, your BFFs, your co-workers, your fans, and your followers. I appreciate all the love and support. I'm Ironman from the music group The Lottery, Showtime Records. And it's just how I see it. Be blessed and Godspeed. Feel free to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy it. Really and truly appreciate it. Leave all your interesting comments right down below, especially the ones where you disagree with everything that I just said. And then subscribe so you don't miss any of the newest and latest views.